So good morning, how are you this morning? I must confess that when you watch this, I will be on a train on my way to Shrewsbury. So I think I've told you this before, but 4 times a year, I meet up with some people that I trained with. And we take it as a sort of retreat day and a catch. We have a format to the day, and we meet up as a way of looking after each other and looking after ourselves in a good biblical fashion. I'll relate to the Bible in a minute. So we're meeting in Shrewsbury because that's the midpoint. We will start with morning prayer and a cup of coffee, and then we will recap the last 3 months of ministry, looking at the highs and the lows and the hope. We will talk about a book that we've read to each other, and we'll generally have a good old catch up, and we have the same structure every time, and we spend the day together sort of doing that, looking back and looking forward. And it's really good practice to have had the structure around my time that I read a book. And I really look forward to those quarterly days, because it's a chance to work, but to reflect and to look at the bigger picture. And it's always good to listen to what's going right and wrong for somebody else and compare notes and get some fresh perspective on what's going on for me. So I'm really, that's going to be fab. Yes, by the time while you're watching this, I am in Shrewsbury doing that. It's good practice, and it comes out of loads of passages in the Bible, but there's a really lovely one about part of the feeding of the 5,000. If you think of that context where Jesus is just surrounded by stacks and stacks and stacks of people, and just prior to that happening, he says this. Well, the Bible says this, and then there's a little bit of what Jesus says. The apostles gathered around Jesus and told him all that they had done and taught. And he said to them, "Come away to a deserted place all by yourselves and rest a while." For many were coming and going, and they had no leisure even to eat. And they went away in the boat to a deserted place by themselves. And the next passage is the feeding of the 5,000. And I love that idea that the apostles were talking to Jesus about how busy they were and all the great stuff they were doing. And he said, well, hang on a minute. Let's just sit a moment. Let's go somewhere quiet. And so I could have some quiet, reflective time in the vicarage, in one of our churches, in a coffee shop in town, but actually I'd be surrounded by the work. And so the idea to go off patch, as it were, and to go to somewhere that's completely different and fresh, and where I'm not going to bump into people, and have that time to just think, well, what have we done over the last 3 months, and what do we want to be doing for the next 3, and to pray with others, and to generally do something that is faith-filled rather than task-orientated is just wonderful. I commend it to you. And in fact, that's kind of where I'm going to leave that. I'm going to ask you, how do you nourish yourselves? How do you make sure your faith remains fresh and vibrant? And how do you give yourself energy? What do you do for yourself to make sure that everything else around your life is working well? For me, this is work to take this day now and again to do this, because the benefits of it are tremendous, and it is a chance to review and discuss what's going on in our ministries. So I just wonder, what do you do? How do you feed yourself? Where do you go? Who are your connection points? Who encourages you to reflect and to consider the balance of what is going on in your life? Maybe you know the answer to those really easily, or maybe you need to sit with it a bit. But I bet you've got some people, and if you haven't, then perhaps we should have a chat and we should find out how we can help you with that, because those moments of reflection and those opportunities to be with like-minded others and to dwell in the presence of God in constructive and hopeful ways is so important. So important. So there we are. I shall let you know how I've got on. I hope I'll see some of you on Sunday at the celebration service. And I'm working Friday, not Saturday this week, but I'll let you work that out. I'll send a little email or something. I hope you have a good day. Lots of love and God bless. Bye bye.